Good afternoon and happy Sunday. I hope everyone is having an awesome weekend so far and getting ready to hit the ground running for 2026. I apologize for not being on Friday, the last couple Fridays, at my normal 12 o'clock slot. Grandkids came in for their vacation. They brought the flu and the chicken pox along with them with their visit. So that was pretty awesome. And then our daughter, she plays indoor soccer, and she ended up breaking her right forearm about 3 to 4 minutes into the game. So it's been some highs and lows around the Hagas here. My little stay-at-home vacation has turned out to be quite fun and exciting with sickness and some injuries. So that's how it's been so far. So today, I'm going to be going over my notes from Friday, 12/26, because they were that important. Okay. So we'll cover some things as we get to them, but I have a nice little agenda set up, and we'll run through this information pretty quickly today. Okay. So that Friday was super busy. I had 3 closings that day. All of them were in the state of Alabama. I was giving a shout out to Miranda for her 2 referrals and her closings. Thank you, Miranda, for always our collaboration and everything that we do to get people into their homes. So thank you. I appreciate you. And then the third one was a high profile client. Was referred to me by a good friend of mine, an agent, Matt. Matt, I appreciate you a ton. I also wanted to thank Bernadette. She gave me a couple referrals. We've got a file in and working on a couple others. So that should close in January. Start off to a great start. And they're, super sweet clients. So thank you. I appreciate it. Welcome to Creating Opportunities. I'm your host, Bill Haga, Executive Loan Officer with Rocket Mortgage Local. Always stress local due to our local pricing is always a good 1% to 1.25% better than our call centers. So if you're buying a $500,000 home, that's a good 5,000 plus in savings to you and your clients. So you want to make sure that you refer them over to me versus letting them go to the call center. Okay. Today's agenda. I want to talk a little bit about 2025, putting 2025 in our rear view mirror, right? That's the small mirror that you're looking through as you're driving, right? The rear view mirror, because the windshield is so much bigger for us to see 2026 coming to us. Okay. So today's agenda, putting 2025 in the rear view mirror. Easy ways to create opportunities with us right now, early on in 2026. I also want to talk about some high profile clients and those types of scenarios, since I just had one of those. And then 2026 outlook. Okay, so I'm just going to dive in here and start talking about 2025. So 2025 was a long year with inflation and interest rates being higher than expecting. It was causing a lot of clients to become spectators versus buyers, right? We had a lot of people get pre-approved but never purchased. Okay, keep that in mind. It challenged relationships, right? Guidelines were changing, a lot of new programs were coming in, new stuff. Anytime you have new stuff, of course, it creates some new issues, right? And you got to just work through them. However, it also allowed other relationships to thrive. I was able to build some nice relationships with you boss ladies. Um, they've they've flourished. So I want to thank you for that. I appreciate the collaboration. Always my pleasure to do business with you. But so another celebration at the end of the year, we had interest rates that actually did drop, right? About 0.75%. And it would appear that our key market indicators are showing much stronger economy in the months ahead of us here. Okay. So that's 2025, right? We remember the ups and downs, the struggles, all those things. And now we're going to shift over to 2026, refocus, and we're going to pick some low hanging fruit. Okay. Low hanging fruit, meaning current clients, past clients, clients who, one, didn't get closed, right? For some odd reason, their file didn't close last year. Okay. These are great referrals for me. Okay. It's a great perspective, being a second opinion to help your clients, right? Not everyone gets it right the first time. Okay. It all depends on the program and who's structuring the loan. Okay. Those are the two, I think, largest part of solving these problems, right? A client's buying issues. There's always something, right? There's a story that comes with every single client. So no different. All right. But let's get them a second opinion. If it's credit, I've got a credit team that works beneath me that take care of it. We'll get them credit scores up, and then we'll get them ready and get them out there looking again. All right. So every client who was denied last year, didn't close for whatever reason, I want to see those. And I want to talk to all those clients who got pre-approved but never closed, right? They became the spectator. All right. These are two opportunities of low hanging fruit that you can jump on right away and still be able to close those in January, right? Close loans in 15, 20 days. Nothing's changed. In fact, we're only getting better at the process, right? We just recently moved up underwriting in our processing, right? So from the time that you get pre-approved, underwriters viewing that file, right? We're underwriting that client. So then at that point in time, all we need is a clear title and a good appraisal, and we're closing. That's huge. That's exciting rolling into 2026. Okay. But I stress this, and I stress this all the time. Your current and past client list are huge. All right. If you're not tracking this information, if you don't have a spreadsheet and with their name and their email address and their phone number, where you're easy to do email campaigns, you have to get set up like that moving forward into 2026. All right. We got to put some things that are slowing us down behind and start improving on some of the things and how we handle some of this information coming into us. All right. These lists are hugely important for us as loan officers, and they've got to be the same for you. Okay. So once again, who had a client who got pre-approved but didn't close, or who was already signed a contract but didn't close? All right. Those are the people I want to talk to. This is going to kickstart your 2026, and we're going to get those people in the homes. Okay. All right. Next thing. So our verified approval letter, right? You get that once the underwriter reviews the file as we're getting our client pre-approved. It states right on there that we'll pay that client $1,000 if we don't close their loan. So here's a true fact. As of January 4th, 2026, from the day that we started this, and I don't know when that was, but we still have not yet paid out $1,000 yet. That's pretty impressive, right? You go out there and you stand on something and you say that if we don't do something, we're going to pay you. But every time we've delivered, that's huge. Okay. It speaks highly of our process and the people who are managing our processes. Okay. Super talented people. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is getting pre-approved that once, never closed. Okay. I want these. I want to talk to all these people. A second opinion in this industry can be like gold. Okay. We don't have the same programs. We don't have the same criteria. We have different programs. Okay. So you can't be closed minded. You got to help these clients open their minds, right? Because they just got turned down or they decided not to buy for whatever reason. So they're still kind of, on the sideline. We need to bring them off the sideline with some bait, right? We need something. So bait's normally a program or interest rate drop or something along those lines. How about let's get prepared, right? Because we already know that moving forward, we've got a lot of things within our economy that's about to happen. We're going to talk about that. Okay. So these second opinions will be huge, and you'll see that. Who's ever had a high profile client? Anyone? Talking actor, senator, someone uber wealthy, an athlete. All right. These are great opportunities, right? Because not only do you have an opportunity to shine and show what you can do, impress people, but stop and think about the referral process behind this, right? They hang out with other athletes, actors, performers. That's who they are. That's what they do. So if they start dropping your name, there's opportunity for more of those high profile clients to come your way. That's huge. I just had one. If you know anything about high profile clients, you're not supposed to talk about them, right? Because that's the confidence, and keep in mind the private information that doesn't get shared. But I just had one of these football player buying in Alabama. We were supposed to close, I think, January 7th, and they've been closed before Christmas. So thank you, Matt. I appreciate you for having faith in me and our processes and making sure that your high profile client got the best service that they possibly could. Right. They were super impressed. He reached out to me, couldn't thank me enough. Was just super impressed with the communication that I delivered, knowing his schedule and being available when he was. And I can tell you that was nowhere near any scheduled hours per se. So thank you. I appreciate you, even though I can't mention your name. But moving forward, I know that you're going to refer me to a lot more of your friends and your family. So thank you so much. I appreciate your business. And so let's talk a little bit about 2026. Okay. So, well, hang on. Let's touch this high profile clients once again. So if you have any, because I want to just explain what took place, because this is really the first one that I've ever had with Rocket. So I just wanted to explain the process. Right. I mean, we hold ourselves to a high level anyway, but when someone like this comes in, it's a whole different atmosphere. I'm talking everything is like handled. I mean, like personally by a manager. There are set people that are qualified to take care of these types of files and only work on these high profile files, right? So you're not getting the common underwriter, you're getting the best underwriter. You're not only getting a great processor, you're getting the best processor. Okay, I can't stress that enough. I want to thank my team for jumping in there and doing everything that they did on this file, because I was super impressed. I mean, this thing was handled. I mean, like that. Once it got into their hands, they took control of the file. They managed everything through me. I did all the communication, and the listing agent reached out to me and said, "My gosh, Bill, I'm almost speechless." When I heard that Rocket was going to do this loan, I was a little nervous based off of some scenarios that she had in the past. And I said, "Well, that was the past. This is now, I appreciate your kind words. Let's talk next week and see what I can do to help grow your business. So she's super excited. I've got a scheduled appointment with her for Wednesday. So just to let you know how impressive that was, it got everybody's head turning. Okay. Even the title company was super impressed with how everything went down. So if you have someone like this and you obviously need to trust somebody wholeheartedly with this, please send them my way. I'd be happy to take care of them for you. All right. So let's jump ahead here 2026. So I think personally, based off of inflation, based off of Powell, based off or Powell leaving, that's the Fed chair. He's gone in May, I believe. He's being replaced. I'm not sure if you caught President Trump's speech by chance or not, but he's already looking for a Fed chair to replace him, someone who's, more in tune with our economy per se, based off of tariffs and us now generating supposedly millions of dollars each month versus losing. So a lot is going on there, right? I know in November, when after the government shut down and some key indicators came out, November was showing a 2.7% inflation rate. That's huge. Remember, the target's been 3%. Oh, we can't lower rates until we get, below 3%. That's all we keep hearing. And here we are at 2.7. So a lot is going to be changing here as we roll into 2026. I'm super excited. I mean, this whole weekend I felt great, got past the sicknesses, and I'm just trying to focus on what I need to personally do in order to make sure that every one of you that collaborates with me, your business increases. Okay, that's my job. That's my job to close the loans when you bring the clients to me. All right, I take that very seriously. So that's how we get paid, right? That's the only way we get paid. My gosh, we can do all kinds of work, and if nothing closes, we don't get paid a dime, right? We've seen that. Nothing worse. Okay. So, interest rates did come down a good 0.75% in 2025. So we do have to be happy about that. But we're expecting big cuts this year. President Trump's been talking about interest rates have been way too high. He thinks they need to be around, 3 or 4%. So just imagine that, what that would cause on the refinance and the purchase side of things, right? Everything blows up in 2026, right? As a good thing. Okay. So once again, I want to thank everyone for your referrals, your collaborations, the amazing conversations that we've had over the year, your kind words. I appreciate the reviews. I just can't thank you enough. So the only way that I know to really thank somebody is to help them more. Okay. So that's just who I am. I was raised that way. And so that's how my mind works. So that's what's going through my mind now as we roll into 2026. How can I help, my referral partners grow their business as much as we possibly can based off of what should be available to us this year? All right. Marketing is a huge piece of that. All right. Some of you, I know we're talking about doing mailers. We're going to start, looking at renters so we can use our rent rewards, right? So we can use some of these programs that we have to pull these people off the sidelines and make them buyers again. Okay. So that's a huge piece of this. All right. So in 2026, I know in 2025, right? Coach Ella was talking about being the educator for your area. All right. I know that most of you have been out there chanting that for most of the year. So 2026 should be the year that we're all known and become known as the educators of our industry, right? Because you got to build it. It just doesn't happen overnight. So if you're out there day in and day out and you're educating people versus selling, right? I don't like to be sold. I hung up on somebody the other day because they were selling me. I don't want that. Can't stand that. Now, if you're here to help me and you're here to educate me on what's going on so I understand things better, great. I'll talk to you all day long, right? Because that's who we are. So being an educator in your community, doing community events, being present, doing all these things is what grows us. Okay. I want to thank everyone for your referrals. I've already got $1 million in processing. So January, going to have a strong month. Look to do nothing but build off of that here in the next couple of weeks, right? Because we can close loans in 15, 20 days. There's still a couple of weeks of business here to do for January. Okay. Some people are already looking into February, right? Because they close loans in 30 days. Well, I'm not there. Okay. We close them in what? 15 to 20 based off of what? We do underwriting up front. And that's exciting. All right. So I believe all of us are looking to increase our numbers over last year, right? Like I said, last year was tough. So I would assume that's probably all of us. Okay. If you feel the same as I do and you're looking to make some changes, maybe things just didn't work out with a couple loans last year. Maybe the communication from your loan officer wasn't there. Maybe they just weren't competitive. Maybe your loan officer wasn't getting back to your clients as quickly as you feel like they should. Please, let's do something. Let's get you on my calendar. Let's get you scheduled. Let's talk about your business, find out what you need and how I can plug in and help. And let's figure out your plan for 2026, right? So once again, always lean on those past and current clients because they'll give you referrals. Yeah, it's true. It's proven, but you have to ask for them. You got to have the conversations, right? It's like if you stay in contact with me all year, right? I'm your past client and you're sending me information, you're sending me market information, you're letting me know things, new programs come out, you're keeping me informed. When you call me, I'm going to answer your phone call, right? If you don't do all these things, I'm probably going to let that go to voicemail and see what you got to say because I haven't heard from you for all year. Okay? Listen to that. That is a key factor in continuously doing business with your past book of business. Okay? Every person in that past client list has a family member looking to purchase. They've got a family member that's renting. It doesn't even know that we offer rent rewards, right? They've got a cousin or a nephew who just graduated college, just landed, their best job, and they're looking to move and they need to buy a house, right? All these things happening within that past client list. Oh my goodness, Zach is hurt. We need to pull some cash out so we can cover our bills, right? Some people may need to refinance. Some people may need to get a HELOC just to secure their financial situation in case they do get hurt, right? It's hard to qualify for a loan if you're not working. Short-term disability doesn't cut it for income, right? So these things need to be in place before you get hurt, before you can't work, okay? People don't plan like that. Moving into 2026, that's the plan, okay? We're here to cover every scenario and explain everything and educate everybody. That's our jobs, all right? I think we had a pretty decent 2025. It was mediocre for me. Nothing spectacular, but then again had some huge wins. Was able to set up some great relationships and build upon that here in 2026, and service more clients. I mean, that's the whole idea, right? So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your collaboration again, your referrals. If we didn't do anything in 2025, let's get our first deal in 2026, right? Sooner than later, or better than later. Once again, that low hanging fruit, those who didn't close, who were under contract, and those who got pre approved that never purchased. Those are your two biggest ponds to be fishing in right now. Okay. Love to chat with all of them. Love to be the second opinion and show them what we can do. I thank you again. I hope everyone has an awesome weekend as we wrap it up here, being Sunday. And I'm looking forward to next week. And like I said, 2026 is going to be the year. It's going to be a fun year. A lot of growth, a lot of personal growth, a lot of business growth. That's what's going to get us there. Thank you. I appreciate you all. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.